Namaskaram and good morning, all of you. So let's start with the second exemption, which is exemption related to agriculture. As you all know, we don't take tax from farmers, neither in income tax nor in GST. So please understand, if you are a farmer, please understand, if you are a farmer, if you are a farmer, you are exempted by section 23, you are covered by section 23, whereas in section 23, please understand, an agriculturist is having full exemption. Agriculturist is exempted from getting a registration under GST law, meaning thereby a farmer, a hardcore farmer, need not to pay tax even on single rupee of supply made by him. So this is what you need to understand. Farmer is already exempted by virtue of operation of section 23, but please understand, here we are not talking about farmer. In agriculture related services, we are talking about service provider who are providing services to farmer. Okay, so it's not core agriculture activity. We will also talk about core agriculture activity, but more than that, I'm going to tell you, this is more about related agriculture related activities which are exempted here. Let's look at the first exemption. Service by way of loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehousing of rice. Storage of loading. So you need to remember these words: loading, unloading, packing, storage, or warehousing of rice. So I will show you one more entry exactly with a similar language here. There is one more entry. See, point number E, look at this point number E. Loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehousing of agriculture produce. So already this entry was there. Loading, unloading, packaging, storage and warehousing of agriculture produce. Why government have inserted loading, unloading, packaging, storage and warehousing of agriculture produce separately for rice? So that you should know, friends, rice is not an agriculture produce. Rice is not an agriculture produce. What you say, paddy. Okay, paddy is an agriculture, sir, agriculture produce. In Hindi we call it dhan, or in Marathi it is dhanya or bhat, we people call it. Okay, so that dhan or paddy is an agriculture produce. Rice we manufacture or rice we process in factories. Okay, there are rice factories, rice mills. So in those factories we extract rice from that shell. So you need to understand, rice is a commercial product. Even though rice is a commercial product, government wanted to give certain benefit to the product rice, and therefore they have covered loading, unloading, packaging, storage and warehousing of rice here. So what about other pulses, dal, tur dal, moong dal? What about those? So for them, the exemption were not there. Therefore, government have amended the law. When we will be going through the amendment material, that time you will see the exemption is extended to pulses and dry fruits also as of now. Okay, but right now you should focus here. Secondly, second exemption 24A is about services of warehousing, services by way of warehousing of minor forest produce. So what do you mean by minor forest produce? So small, you can, a forest developed by the this small farmers or marginal farmers. Sometimes it is a developed farmer, sometimes a developed forest, sometimes it is the original forest from which they extract the product and they sell it. Here you can see some of the minor, like I googled it, minor forest produce. So you can see some of the commodities here that these people extract from the forest and they process it to some extent. Basically, they dry it and all, and they sell it in the market. So warehousing of this product is covered here. You can see different types of products here. Okay, so these are the minor forest produce. Warehousing of that is a service, isn't it? See, a warehouse keeper is not actually extracting minor forest produce. He's just warehousing it. He's renting his warehouse. So that renting of warehouse service is exempt here. Secondly, services by way of fumigation in warehouse of agriculture produce. Now, what do you mean by fumigation? So I don't have to show you a separate image here. You can see a guy with a a big machine which release some kind of gas or this what do you say in Hindi? In Mumbai we call it dur wala na, like this guy who kills some insect and all. So they wanted to kill some insect, and fumigation is the service itself. So that service is exempted here when they do it in agriculture produce warehousing, fumigation. The next one is services, and this entry is important. Entry number 54 is a flagship entry or main entry of agriculture services. Look at this: services relating to cultivation of plants, rearing of all life forms of animals, except rearing of horses. See, so far as horses are concerned, GST law is negative about it. They don't want to give any exemption to the rearing of horse industry, because it's not a small scale industry; it's very large scale industry, and many rich people are involved into this industry, rearing of horses. But rearing of goat farm or poultry farm or fisheries, yes, there are a lot of small people involved here. So government usually don't give any benefit to horses. This is what you need to keep in mind. Okay. Now, for food, for fiber, for fuel, for raw material and other similar product or agriculture produce by way of agriculture operations. Now here government is exempting agriculture operation. So what do you mean by agriculture operation? Agriculture operation includes cultivation, harvesting, threshing, plant protection and testing. So even testing is covered here: testing of soil, testing of water, testing of seeds, testing of fertilizer. So all those items are covered here. Supply of farm labor. Now this contractor, the contractor is not a farmer. He's having 100 or 120 workers with him. He just supply that particular farm labor and he get the money, and they just go away. So that supply of farm labor money is also exempt. Then there are certain processes that they have to carry out on the plant, on the farm itself. Like you must be knowing, mangoes cannot be ripen on the tree. Mango we have to extract when they are green, when they are raw, and then we store them in a such a way for at least 15-20 days. Then only they become marketable. Directly you cannot take mango from a tree and sell it to the market. No, that is not possible. Okay, there are various reasons for that. Many animals will eat the fruit. These birds will eat the fruit. The mango will not be ripened properly due to heavy airflow. The ripened mangoes will fall down on the land, and then it will become not non-sellable. So what these farmers or mango farmers they do? They extract mango very sophisticatedly. It's very delicate process, and they keep it in some kind of boxes, wooden boxes with some grass covered, so that it should be ripened over the period of time, and then it will become marketable. So the purpose of carrying out further processing is not to change the characteristics of mango. Raw mango and ripened mango, mango still remains mango. Mango should not become mango pulp. Okay, mango should not become mango pulp, or mango should not become mango ice cream or mango candy or mango chocolate. No, that is not possible. Mango before process, after process should remain mango. Though the extra processes carried on by the farmer or some other people on the farm itself, which is necessary to bring the product to the market, shall be exempt from this. So look at this: processes carried out an agriculture farm. Processes carried out at agriculture farm, including tending, pruning, cutting. Tending means giving water to your watering or maintaining your plant. That is tending. Pruning and cutting means cutting. You might have seen some movies where gardener will cut some extra leaves and all. Okay, that is pruning and cutting. Harvesting, harvesting. Drying, you are just drying or sun drying it. Cleaning, washing and cleaning.